Hold on, stop.
Welcome back to the Shit Show 2.0.
Okay, boomer.
Damn millennials. Wow.
Did not know that.
Even flirters who are obviously mentally ill.
Oh, this is gonna go downhill real quick.
What's going on? And welcome to Take on the World with
Johnny.
Lexi.
and Mike.
Mike.
So Lexi's decided to join us again. She hasn't gotten scared and run off into
Yet.
the woods screaming.
Yet.
That's my 7 o'clock appointment, so we have to hurry this up.
How can we condense 3 hours of sickness into 4 minutes?
Well, let's just say David Parker Ray was a sick fuck, and thanks for coming. Go take on the world.
We'll see you later.
Hi. That's all we want to talk about. He was weird.
So what we're talking about today is the Toybox killer.
Fucked up.
I tell you what,
This you didn't even know about, Michael.
I did not. When John said this to me, I'm like, who the fuck is a Toybox killer? But I will tell you, as soon as I said something to Lexi, hey, this is a topic we're going to do. You want to jump in on it? She says, yeah, he was sick.
Yeah, he was fucked up.
So she obviously knew it was down.
Yeah. He's a messed up guy.
I wonder who... You would think at this point, with all these killers out there, that they wouldn't glorify them by giving them these names and putting them in the media. They always talk about how they don't want to do that, but
They do it because it sells papers.
Right.
yeah.
It's the media mostly.
Like what? In all honesty, this guy should just be buried in a fucking toy box his own and forgotten about.
He should.
Well, he's dead, so we have no worries there.
Good.
Right.
There was a lot about this that I found disturbing, but there was something I learned about this that we'll get to later on, and I'm not sure if either one of you guys noticed. You might have heard me say it, but it's just how disturbing this whole situation was, and we'll get there. But so this story basically begins where it ended, because nobody knew what was going on,
Right.
until
That one
Until
little
he was
fuck
caught.
up.
yeah.
That one little fuck up. He could still be doing this shit.
Well, it wasn't even his fuck up. Like when the more accomplices he put into his circle,
Yeah.
that's where the mistake happened.
It was his girlfriend.
Yeah. So
What? I don't even know. How can you have a girlfriend at this point?
She was supportive. Like, she did this with him.
How did he meet her? On
she was
Match.com?
in jail. They met in jail.
Hey, what are your legs, baby?
did they?
I think in jail or
Go
like
figure.
Well, he was
Fucking-
never incarcerated.
coming out of jail or like he was being held or something. I can't remember what it was, but it was something like that.
Well, he was questioned at one point, and we'll get to that as well. But
You're taking my lines.
was that?
You're taking my lines.
I'm sorry.
We'll get there.
Well, so in 1999, the only reason this dude was caught, it was an otherwise quiet afternoon in Elephant Butte, New Mexico. Now, did you see pictures of this place?
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like the middle of it looks like
It has a man-made lake.
Yes.
yeah, it looks like
It's
Mad
the-
Max.
It's like the 56th largest man-made lake in the United States, but it's the biggest lake in New Mexico.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. I forgot. I was thinking of like when you're not looking at the lake, it just looks like a desert.
Yeah. Like the town, Elephant Butte, is like nothing.
Yeah.
But there's actually a state park there, and there's an island in the middle, and if you look at this island, like you could see an elephant on it. Like,
Yeah.
you could see it's kind of shaped like an elephant, so I guess that's how it's got its
Elephant
name.
butt.
So March 22nd, 1999, a woman was spotted running down Springfield Boulevard. That same woman burst into a home, a trailer home, and she was wearing nothing but a metal dog collar and a chain. Completely naked, bloody, bruised, battered. She
Dude,
busted.
it's got to be one hell of a fucking sight.
The thing that like makes it like even more fucked up is like this wasn't just like he was in town. She ran along a road.
Yeah.
She tried to get people to pick her up. Nobody would stop for her. She
Amazing.
knocked on like a lot of doors. Nobody would let her in except for this one lady. And this lady finally let her in and she was like, "Let's get you fixed up." And she took her to the police.
Well, she called 911. Well, they called
Yeah.
911 and said, "Look, this lady just burst into our house. She's buck naked
Yeah.
with a chain on. She's bloody. Something's going on." Another 911 call hang up had happened at 3:22 p.m. The 911 dispatcher got a strange call from residents at 513 Bass Road. When the operator answered, no one spoke on the other end. All they could make out was a scuffle.
Yeah.
So, I guess so much doesn't happen in Elephant Butte. This 911 operator said, "Look, these two things cannot be not connected.
Right. They're
Right.
not separate.
Like they have to be connected somehow." So they sent.
You didn't get a population in Elephant Butte, did you?
I think it was like 1,000 permanent residents.
Because it was kind of like a retirement place. Like people would go there because of the lake.
I know the median household income was $30,000 a year.
Yeah. I don't think you would need much to live out there.
Well, it's not far from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, which I've heard of before, and it may be because of this story.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why I know that place.
Yeah, didn't some fucked up shit happen out there, too?
Well, this was part of that.
Yeah.
There was a movie about that.
Yeah, there was.
I don't know about that.
Was it that one with, no, that was in Nebraska. Boys Don't Cry.
Yeah, you cry.
I would cry if that was happening to me. Or there'd be a big grin on my face, one or the other.
So they sent
223
permanent residents?
in 1999.
Wow.
Jeez, yeah, so...
Like
wait
they
a
all
minute.
graduated together.
Yeah.
Now,
That's-
wait a minute. 2 911 calls. Now I'm not getting a connection.
No, this
Dumbass operator.
This 911 operator was on top of it. She said, she
Yeah.
goes, 2 911 calls in the same day? They connected.
She's like, I'm on the case.
Well, good for her.
So they sent a deputy out to 513 Bass Road, and because they had gotten a 911 hang-up from there, they had probable cause to enter the residence, is what they said. I'm not sure if I technically agree with that, but in this case, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
It might be different in different states.
So they go in, and what they found was signs of a scuffle, broken glass, which confuses me because now, this is what I was talking about earlier. I watched 2 different documentaries on this, and both of them said something different.
Well, you tell me what you heard, and then I'll tell you what the video that I watched.
The video that I watched said that she was chained to a bed in the house. The other video said she was chained to the table in
The toy box.
The box.
The one that I listened to was she was chained to a bed in the house. Like
Yeah.
they had moved her out and put her in the house because
That's what I had heard too.
David
Yeah,
was
the one I
going to
watched.
work.
Yes.
The one I remember from what I watched years ago said the same thing. She escaped from the house.
Right. So when it makes sense because they entered the house. Now the other documentary that I watched still said toy box, but
Yeah.
when
They
they
had
went
to be confused or something.
when they went to the property, the toy box was locked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine every time he left, he probably had multiple locks on it for one.
Well, it said it took them. They had to call a locksmith out to get
Yeah.
in it,
Yeah.
so it wasn't easy to get into.
He was a mechanical, like he was pretty much like a mechanical engineer
Yeah.
by this point. Like he would just did all this stuff.
Well, he was in. Well, we'll get to that. But so they searched this house. They found broken glass. They found signs of a struggle. This lady that they found, who isn't named at this point, said this is where she was. So they connected the two. They made an arrest. And then they start investigating. They start checking the property, and they find the toy box.
Like,
And
what's this thing?
it was like the back of a box trailer.
Never mind. I got a fucked up sense of humor. The toy
You know
boxes
what
are
it-
rocking. Don't come a knocking.
It looked kind of like one of those
Going now.
those the storage containers
Like
that you
a-
can move.
A sea can, yeah.
Pods
Like a
or whatever they are.
pod? Yeah, yeah.
But
okay.
but
That's what it looked
he
like.
said he bought was a like a delivery truck trailer, and he converted it
Just
into
reinforced it. And
reinforced. Like it was reinforced so it couldn't. It was soundproof. It was a reinforced frame. He put an air conditioner so he would be comfortable,
Jesus Christ.
and then the rest of the stuff inside.
Your
would
toy
be-
box come with an air conditioner?
Well, He coined the term Toybox.
Oh, he did.
Yes. He called it his Toybox.
Yeah.
Ugh, that makes it even more creepier.
So the he we're talking about is David Parker Ray. And what I have a problem with
Yeah.
is every single psycho or sicko has got 3 names.
3 names.
Like David Parker Ray
Hannibal Lecter only had 2.
Wasn't
is Hannibal Aloysius Lecter.
Nobody called him that.
alopecia?
Alopecia Lecter.
Losing hair.
So they arrested him, and then they started investigating.
Oh, how'd that feel?
I had my hand there, so she didn't
Oh.
hit it. Could you stop? Go.
She wants more Doritos.
Same.
Yeah. They're over there. I just can't reach them. So David Parker Ray was born November 6th, 1939. So we'll go back to our Aleister Crowley episode. And I'm just wondering if this guy was inspired by that guy. Because he did a lot of the same crap.
Who knows?
Except
Maybe.
Aleister Crowley didn't kidnap his victims.
I mean,
they were all willing.
The
Right.
guy doesn't sound like an idiot. He's obviously a mechanical engineer. He was in the army, and
He was in the army. He was a mechanic in the army.
Yeah.
he was. I would love to know what his IQ is.
He made like a lot of the devices that they used to torture them.
He made them all.
Yeah.
But where he also made devices was when he worked for the state park,
Yeah.
the Elephant Butte State Park,
Yeah.
and he would make, like, I saw one of the interviews with one of his coworkers. Well, he made this device and he made that device,
Yeah.
and he was always making something. He made a snake catcher. He made a this, like, so he was always doing something. And everybody who knew him said, "Man, I can't believe he'd ever do something like that."
They all said that he was like a great guy when he would like work on people's cars, and if he didn't have the right kind of tool, he would like make it himself so that he could like fix people's stuff.
Yeah, they were friendly to animals.
Yeah.
So, him and his father and his mother. His father was an alcoholic, abusive, drunk, and when they split, the mom took him and his sister to his paternal grandparents, which is
Just punch yourself in the face.
his.
I'm waiting for it.
I'll show you.
I'll show you sadomasochism. So that's his father's parents, the
Okay.
paternal grandparents.
Yeah.
And they said he was a strict disciplinarian. His real father sporadically would visit him
And beat him.
and beat him
Oh, that's nice.
and give him bondage porn.
Yes.
Oh,
Like that's where he got his first.
maybe that's why me and my
So-
dad's relationship.
Because he didn't
Isn't
give
as
you
close.
porn.
Because he didn't give you the bondage
He
porn.
didn't beat you and he didn't give you porn.
Man,
If he had
who'da
just
known?
given you bondage porn.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah. Fucked up.
So he was also tormented and bullied and beaten at school because they said he was shy, so they picked on him.
Yeah.
Used to come to school with a gag ball.
He's just
Leather
shy.
pants. Look at the freak.
He's wearing a ball gag. Yeah, he's just shy. So as a teenager, he developed sexual fantasies about raping, torturing, and even murdering women.
Don't know where that came from.
He said about this time, his sister discovered his sadomasochistic drawings, as well as pornographic pictures of bondage acts. So his sister knew he was a freak.
Yeah.
He completed high school, and it's around that time where supposedly he tortured his first victim, tied her to a tree, and tortured her.
He told his first wife about this, John.
Yes.
And they were still together for a little while after.
Now, later on in
It's true love.
a jailhouse
I don't
interview,
know what it is.
one of his
Stupidity.
co-conspirators and accomplices said that he confessed to her that after that killing, he killed a woman a year, every year since. So
I mean, if you look at that place, I know I read somewhere that they sent divers in that lake and they never found anything.
they found no bodies, not
Nothing.
ever found one body.
And I think he did say, or people said he used to go out there all the time in the middle of the lake, and who knows?
Well,
maybe,
he had a sailboat, so he was out in the lake all the time.
maybe that was just a ploy. Maybe he buried them all in the desert.
He served in the Army with an honorable discharge, and he was a mechanic. He also worked as an armed park officer and mechanic at Elephant Butte State Park.
See, that's where I could see him. Like, oh, nobody ever goes over here. I know some really good hiding spots.
Well, that's what they said in the one documentary, that he would have known every single spot in that lake. Plus, there was a breed of catfish in that lake that supposedly would eat anything.
I believe it. They're bottom feeders.
Yeah.
They'll eat anything if you chop the body up, I suppose. But yeah, I bet he was killing people while he was on duty. No doubt about it.
You think?
Well, I don't know,
Absolutely.
because that's not really his MO. His MO is the long, drawn-out torture and rape.
Well, a lot of the speculation, specifically by his daughter. Now,
He has 2 daughters.
the daughter that was a co-conspirator.
Jessie.
Yeah, Jessie. When she was about 19 years old, she caught him in the act of torturing a woman.
Which I guess is why she was in on it, because it was like, you're either in on it or you're dead.
Well, she went to the cops. She talked to the FBI, gave a full statement to the FBI, and supposedly detailed how he kidnaps these women, tortures them, and then sells them into sex slavery into Mexico. And the police the FBI did an investigation, called him in. He says, "Well, yeah, I do the whole bondage thing, but they're willing participants, and it is what it is. I'm pretty proud of my bondage heritage." Like,
Fuck you.
You want to see the toy box?
so he bragged on it, and they didn't do anything. They closed the case. They had no crime to charge him with, because besides the victims that he was tried for.
They never
So
found
at this
anybody
point,
else.
how many victims are there?
Let's wait till we get there. Hold on. We'll get there.
Stop asking questions, John. Read your notes.
Well, no, I'm thinking like he must not have been that many.
Well,
They weren't looking at him as a suspect for anything.
well, he was never charged with one murder.
No.
Not one.
Because they never found any evidence of murder. The 2 or 3 women that they found were all still alive.
The one woman who was murdered,
I just noticed you put a question mark next to Toybox Killer. Or
Toybox
somebody
Killer?
did with him.
so the one murder that they could prove, his co-conspirator got charged with, because it shows him on tape strangling her. But he said that
So he was just an accomplice.
David Ray held a gun to his head, the man to do it. But now that guy,
Dennis Roy Yancey.
yes, Dennis Roy Yancey, did time, got out on parole, was out on parole for 3 months, violated his parole, and went back to jail. Now, one of the documentaries said he doesn't get out till next year. Another one said he got out and he's got a social media account. And he went back to live at Truth or Consequences.
Scandalo.
Get out of your old stomping grounds, dude. That's not good for you. You know?
So his toy box in the question mark.
Search a little, just gotta get out and explore.
Well, no, I mean, like, that's what happens, like, a lot of times with, like, drug addicts and stuff. Like, when they go back and live in their hometown, they get back into it because it's all they know there. All he knows is this weird murder stuff, so just don't go back and live there.
I've always said the only way you're going to get out of jail and stay out of trouble is to distance yourself from the people you hung out with before you were in jail. Because just that same reason.
Yeah.
You're going to just fall back into the same habits, and you're going to end up being a shitbag.
Like,
again.
those people haven't changed. They're all the same.
No, the people who didn't go to jail haven't changed. Now, people who've gone to jail, they definitely have changed.
Right.
Sometimes not for the better, but some of them legitimately want to get out of that
Yeah.
lifestyle. But once you get back in with those people,
You're around with the same crowd doing the same shit.
you're going to do the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
Vicious cycle.
So, where are we at here? So, while they were investigating that first woman, another woman came forward. I said, look, he did the same thing to me. Now, the prosecutor didn't know if they were going to go forward with, what was the first lady's name? Cynthia Virgil. They weren't sure if they were going to go forward with prosecution because she was a prostitute and a drug addict. So they didn't know that they had a credible witness. During the investigation, Angelica Montano came forward, and they basically took her statement and there was no follow-up.
The next lady is the most interesting. I think it's the coolest.
Yeah.
Kelly Garrett,
Yeah, Kelly Garrett.
also called Kelly Von Cleaver.
Yeah, Kelly Von
Cleavage.
She was found because they enhanced video footage of a lady with a tattoo. And she came forward saying, this is my tattoo. She had no recollection of it.
So I don't understand how they thought that would be a credible witness. She didn't start remembering stuff
Until they started.
until they started feeding her stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, your box is in the way.
Your stupid box, John.
You want to move my toy box?
You have to move your box back so I can slide mine back. There we go.
Oh my gosh,
You're
you guys
good.
are so loud.
So, like, how that... Because then all of a sudden she started remembering stuff, which like, I'm glad.
Right, but how do you then say, like, this girl is not a credible witness because she could have been,
Right.
On drugs and she's a prostitute. So, how many, she blah, 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 whatever. Because she's a sex worker.
Right.
But you're going to, choose this woman as credible when she doesn't even really remember.
Like the Angelica Montano, I don't know why.
Well, I mean, it must have been a really good picture of her tattoo.
It was not a very good picture.
They had to...
It was a partial, and they had to send it to the FBI to enhance it.
Yeah.
But once they got it enhanced, the lady said, well, hey, that's my tattoo.
Yeah.
Well, if you're looking at, like, how many people out of 260 people.
Well, they had
She didn't live
hundreds.
there anymore.
No?
She didn't even live in the area anymore.
She only stayed... She was in the area...
Well, no, go ahead.
She was in the area for a short period of time, but she had 3 missing days
Yeah.
of her life while she was there.
Yeah.
So it says it's unknown how many victims he has. It is unknown what happened to any of the women who crossed paths with him. There were hundreds of video. Now, he videotaped all these sessions. There were hundreds of videotapes that were gone over in detail. And when they were doing the investigation, what's her name?
You should see if you can pull up the audio of his initial.
Ugh.
Hello,
bitch.
I don't want to play that. Like, legit, I don't want to play that.
It's disgusting.
I know, but it's just, you gotta... We didn't do it. He did it.
Yeah, I know. It's just, like...
Hearing it is just, like... It makes you uncomfortable because you're like... He played this and then he did all this, like, weird, fucked up shit.
It's the truth. There's fucking weirdos out there, and people need to be aware of that shit.
Yeah.
People, I suggest you, when you're eligible, get your carry license, carry permit, whatever it takes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Get practice, learn how to shoot it, learn how to handle it safely.
I'm trying to find
At the very least, get some fucking mace or something.
Mace,
Pepper
ball
spray.
bat, stun gun.
I know I typed it in and I can't find this chick's name.
Which one?
Rust. It was an FBI agent, Rust. Her last name was Rust. I don't know if it's in yours.
Thanks.
Well, I kept
Patty Rust. FBI agent Patty Rust.
Yeah, here it is.
Yes. Okay, FBI agent Patty Rust. She went in with a couple FBI agents and watched they put the first tape in. And after the first tape, they shut it off. They walked outside. And one of the FBI agents vomited from how graphic it was. She was tasked with going back into the toy box. And so we started talking about the toy box. It was set up, reinforced steel, soundproof, and inside where was a gynecological chair that
With the
was
stirrups.
With the stirrups and everything, and it was made so he could contort women to any position he wanted. He had extra tools and
yeah, wasn't there like tool shelves on the side you could like
he pull them out and like everything was labeled real nice. Fucking weird. And she went in and she had to document all that, so she did sketches of every single thing in that shed. It took her 5 days to do. When she was done sketching everything in there, they said she turned her work in. They told her, go home to your family, just relax for a little bit. She flew home to El Paso, Texas. Midnight, the night she got home, she took out her service revolver and shot herself in the head.
That one I didn't know.
Yeah.
Damn, see, that really fucked her up.
Yeah, well, if you can make a seasoned FBI agent vomit, like,
it's fucked up.
We've seen some fucking shit.
Mm-hmm.
And for us to get squeamish, that's, that takes a leap.
Yeah.
For you to take a seasoned FBI agent who sees this shit all the time and have them vomit from seeing it, it had to be bad.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. That was just the first tape. There were hundreds more.
Yeah.
So, his first victim, he actually spent like $100,000 building his toy box, supposedly. That's what it was reported. With everything he had in it, 2 video cameras, so 2 position cameras.
Didn't he have like
I think-
electrical prods in there too, and
Yeah,
just all kinds
everything,
of...
dude.
There
Like,
was a mirror right above the chair.
Yeah, there was a fucking like welder in there or some shit, and he had some attachments where he could electrocute them inside and outside, and I mean, this guy had one hell of an imagination.
So, his first victim, Cynthia, supposedly he approached her in a parking lot. She was a prostitute. One documentary I watched, they said he talked to her pimp, made the deal, then approached her, brought her into his RV, and pretended he was a cop and arrested her, put her in cuffs, and that's how he controlled her.
Yeah.
Took her back to the house, put her in a toy box, and proceeded to rape and torture her.
Yeah, this wasn't just like a once and done thing. This was like for weeks on end, maybe months on end.
Some of the women are speculating. It's all a lot of what
There's
they said.
like no actual timeline, like because nobody knew it was happening, and like there are hundreds of videos. You don't know like when they happened.
But I think it's safe to say it's just more than
At
one.
least 3 days,
Yeah.
because she was 3 days. On the third day is when she got away. She got away because his accomplice, what was her name?
His girlfriend.
Yeah. He went someplace.
Cindy.
To work. Cindy was there, left the keys to her shackles.
On like the side table and left to take a call.
Yeah. So she got him open, and then the accomplice came back. Cindy came back. They fought, broke some glass. This girl stabbed her in the neck
With an ice pick.
with an ice pick.
That was just laying around.
Yeah, just ice picks just laying around everywhere.
Yeah.
And took off out and ran.
Mm-hmm.
And that took her to the mobile home where
She finally got help.
Yeah. But she says she was there for 3 days. That was on the third day. Kelly Garrett says she had 3 days missing from her. And supposedly he was very methodical about how he did his torture. It was the same every time.
Yeah.
So like he had some kind of sick, perverted sexual MO that he would follow to the T. And I guess he had done it so many times that he made this tape that we had talked about. And I don't know that I want to play it for everybody. I'll find a link to it.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely something that you want to listen to at your own discretion. It does make you feel very uncomfortable. It's not really like...
Just reading it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, it starts out, hello there, bitch.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable right now? I doubt it. That's how it starts out.
Yeah.
It's just...
And then he says he is going to violate that person in every orifice,
Yeah.
in every way.
Isn't this tape also like hours long? Or
No,
something? Like it's
no,
a super long tape or something?
It's maybe 5 minutes long.
Maybe it just feels
And
like
he says
30
at the
hours.
very end, he goes, and we will eventually in a month or 2 or 3. It's no big deal. Let him go.
Yeah.
You'll keep here until you're used.
Insane.
Until we're tired of fucking around with you. That's what it says. And it says you are here against your will.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when he went to trial, they did 3 separate trials. One for each of these women. Which is baffling to me because they said they didn't think that the first one was a credible witness. But I guess when they had the other 2.
And by that point, it's like, well, you have 2. This is all corroborated by the evidence that they found in the home. Because Cynthia, she had a lamp. There's a lamp on the bedside table after she got her cuffs off. She took this lamp and hit Cindy on the head with it. Cindy, started getting back up, so she stabbed her in the neck with an ice pick.
Mm-hmm.
This lady that helped her, she went into her trailer, took her to the hospital, And while she's being checked out, she sees Cindy walk into the hospital to get medical attention.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she sees her walk into the hospital. She goes, "That's her. That's fucking her." So they pick her up and they take her back to be questioned after she's fixed up. And that's when they, yeah.
I didn't know that.
233 people, whatever it was, in a town in 1999. Yeah, they walk in, they're in the same exact emergency room. Like, I don't know,
The
like,
only emergency room.
well, yeah, like, I don't know, that's exactly it. Like, what did she think was going to happen?
Meanwhile, David Parker Ray's probably out fishing for bass or something.
Yeah, he's at work. He's at work this entire time.
Yeah, and he's
Can't wait to get in that air-conditioned toy box when I get home.
Yeah.
Sure is hot out here.
Like,
I'll get some work in.
insane.
That's disgusting, dude.
And he does have two daughters, and one of them, like, just wants nothing to do with him. She, like, completely disowned everything, and then the other one was his
Well, he's
accomplice.
married like 4 times.
Yeah, he had like three or four wives.
So, in Cynthia's trial, Cynthia Virgil's trial, the judge would not allow the audio tape into evidence because she doesn't remember hearing it. So they said it was prejudicial.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So I think the first one comes up in a mistrial, a hung jury. So they retry, and he gets convicted because the second judge he says, yeah, that's not prejudicial. That goes to show that she was there
Yeah.
Against her consent, because it says
You're
here
here
against your will.
Yeah.
So then they do the second trial, and he gets convicted there of kidnapping and rape. So then they go after. Now they arrested his daughter. They arrested
The boyfriend,
the boyfriend,
Dennis,
and they arrested
Cindy,
Wait, whoa, what? The boyfriend?
the daughter's
boyfriend,
boyfriend.
Jesse's boyfriend.
He's in on it too?
Yeah, he was the one that
Oh, yeah,
they
that
they
fucking
caught.
sick fuck
Yeah,
is
he said that
this?
earlier.
Yeah, I said that earlier.
I missed that.
He actually murdered somebody.
Yeah, that's the one who was caught on tape strangling the lady.
I thought it was Cynthia. Or not Cynthia, Cindy.
Jesse.
So here are the accomplices: Glenda Jean Jessie Ray. Her nickname is Jessie. It's Ray's daughter. At age 19, we already went through that. Sex trade. What? Okay, when she went to the FBI when she was 19, and they didn't do anything about it, that was the last time she ever spoke out against her father.
Yep.
Where was she living at the time?
With him. She went back and became part of his
What
cabal.
about the other daughter?
The other daughter, nothing.
You can't find anything about her because she's just completely disconnected from them.
Just ghosted him.
David Ray Parker, when he was interviewed by the FBI, didn't deny any of the sexual exploits, but said they were all willing partners, and without any evidence of a crime, they couldn't charge him with anything.
Yeah.
So now, fast forward to 99, she was jammed up in everything. She, the boyfriend's ex-girlfriend was the woman who got murdered. He strangled her. She was tortured, and they strangled her. And so she was implicated in that. The girl was at a bar. She had just gotten married. She had a fight with her husband. She went to this bar with some friends. She went with somebody to take somebody else home. When she came back, the rest of her friends are gone. It was only her and Jesse there then. And she couldn't drive because she was drunk.
Yeah.
So Jesse said, well, you come stay at my dad's place and you know, everything will be cool. So they went over to her dad's place and everything wasn't cool.
Yeah.
They locked her up, put her in the toy box, and then Dennis Roy Yancey, 3 names again.
Weirdo.
He went in and did unspeakable things and then strangled her. That Dennis Roy Yancey was, when he was younger, he run around town with a bunch of kids who thought they were Satanists, and he was like a town bad boy. He went in the Navy, straightened himself out, came home. He tried to stay on the straight and narrow, but got involved with it. And they speculated.
Jesse.
They speculated that he had some kind of interaction with David Parker Ray before he went in.
So he looks like he's due to get out this year.
Yeah, but the other one says he's out. The other one says he's out, and
Well, whichever one is the one telling you that she was found in the toy box is probably just a bunch of incorrect.
But they both contradict each other all the way through.
I don't know.
That's on YouTube, so it must be real. They must both be right. It's on the internet. Bonjour. Marie was the chick that he killed. A former girlfriend. They took her into the toy box, did whatever they did. So supposedly he was paroled in 2010 after serving 11 years. 3 months after his release, he violated his parole, was put back in jail. And this says he will serve until 2021. But 2 other places I saw that he's out and has a social media account. And he moved back to Truth or Consequences. The third accomplice was Cindy Hendy. That was his girlfriend. And after her, she spilled the beans, and so did Dennis Roy.
Yeah.
They both...
they were like, okay, we're getting taken down for this. He's going down further. Like, this was all his idea.
Yeah, it was all his idea. Cindy Hendy blames David for sucking her into his, quote, stupid bondage fantasies. And she was sentenced to 36 years.
I don't know. I wonder how long they dated.
And she was released... Well, she's received parole in 2017, but she served 2 years of her parole in jail. But I guess when she was in jail, she was trafficking contraband and all kinds of other shit. She was found with drugs.
I don't know. Like, if you want to get out of jail, just do what you're supposed to do.
I hear the dumb dog barking again. So she got out July 15th, 2019. She got out of jail.
That's insane. Just go back to jail.
Now, Dennis, he was a different story. Or David, not Dennis. David Parker Ray, in one documentary, said he actually, after he was sentenced on the second trial, he served 1 day in jail.
Mm-hmm.
And they were taking him to interview him, and he had a heart attack and died. The other one said he served 6 or 9 months. So
I don't remember.
Either way,
yeah, that's fine.
No justice was done here.
No.
Him having a heart attack was the easy way out for him.
Yeah, he's a
Absolutely.
But he was only convicted of
kidnap and rape.
And he pled guilty to the other charges, but never convicted of any murder charge.
No.
They never found a body. They never identified anyone except for the one woman in any of the videotapes.
Yeah.
And then I guess this just kind of like got washed under the bridge or swept under the rug after that. I mean, there's really no further investigation into the matter.
No. I think that when his daughter was 19, she said he was selling people into sex slavery into Mexico. It's likely that most of his victims went that route.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking, like, where did he get all his money to build this fucking thing if it was costing $100,000?
He was in the Navy or the Army.
He was only in for 4 years.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, but he was honorably discharged, so he was probably getting something. Plus, he was working.
At 4 years in the military, you get nothing. You get benefits, but you don't get a monetary benefit.
I bet he probably got a couple thousand for each girl.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That's where all the money came to.
I mean, and then, sad to say, but that's just the sad nature of prostitutes. Like, nobody really looks into them because they're, it's that.
It's like what they say, like, you always pick the people that nobody's going to miss or whatever.
Yeah.
Or that you think nobody will miss. Like,
homeless vets and prostitutes.
Yep.
and it's sad that that's the way things are.
Yeah, I was just watching another murder thing. They were looking for this guy who killed somebody in California, and they ended up tracing it down to a guy who he had moved to Florida years before, and he was assaulting prostitutes, and nobody really was like, "You're a prostitute. Who cares?"
Yeah.
Like, you're
nobody
that
listens to sex workers.
You're living that type of life. That's just kind of what you get.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just the wrong attitude. I mean,
But finally, they were able to, see that, holy shit, there's like more than one prostitute that has the same story, sort of like this. And they
Something's
found
wrong.
the guy and convicted him. And
That was like one of our future podcasts will be on Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
And he went after prostitutes.
yep, the downtrodden.
Women who are out on the street when it's dark out. Who
Is
are
that when
living.
prostitutes come out?
That's when
That's when they
COVID
come out
comes
in
out.
Saipan, I know that.
That's when COVID comes out. After
You
10.
want massage?
You want a massage, my daughter?
No, thank you.
I don't know.
I don't think any justice was done in this case.
No,
No.
it's just kind of like, here's the facts, and this guy was really fucked up,
Yeah.
and he had really fucked up people with him, like the boyfriend, his girlfriend, his daughter. Like, I don't get that.
You know, we did the Aleister Crowley episode just a couple episodes ago, and in his time, he was considered the wickedest man in the world. I think he pales in comparison to this piece of shit.
Because if he's claiming one woman a year.
One murdered woman, that's
Yeah.
doesn't tell you how many people he's abducted and
exactly.
tortured.
I would think if you're
It's over 60.
willing to do that type of shit, murder's not going to be far off from that. So.
Absolutely
Well,
not. That's what it was.
When he was interviewed by the FBI, when his daughter went to the FBI, he basically said the only way he could feel sexual gratification is thinking about murdering a woman. He said that to him.
Mhm.
How do you not look closer at that?
Yeah,
Like that's bad on the FBI.
yeah. I see the guy sitting there. So, all right, that's noted. I think we're done here.
Anything else you like to add to that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's about that time. I gotta go get some lunch. All right.
Yeah. Like, that's.
So, when his plea deal he made to save his daughter jail time. His daughter walked.
Yeah.
She walked with I think like 5 years probation. And the police think he's responsible for at least 30 murders, but they've never found a body.
Like, how do you know who?
His plea deal was for 224 years in prison.
Yeah, that's like 3 life sentences.
And he served, according to one documentary, he served 1 day of his sentence time, or he served 9 months of his sentence time.
Yeah.
Either way, there's no justice done there.
No.
You know, we were talking about unsolved murders with the Gary Redner murder, and the unsolved stats. I'd be interested to see those unsolved stats. How many of those are prostitutes?
Yeah.
I wonder if it's broken down. I'm sure
there's somewhere.
someplace it is, but
Yeah. It's unbelievable. And, I watch a lot of these videos. They come up, like, as recommended because I watch stuff. I watch stuff about true crime all the time. And there are actually a lot of, like, this mystery or cold case solved decades later due to genealogy. And it's just really, really cool. Like, and they've caught people while they're still alive. And I think that's something
Golden
that's
State
really
Killer?
interesting.
Did you ever follow that one?
No.
yeah, we were talking
I
about
didn't
that one
follow
last
it.
time too.
Well, you gotta look into that. I mean, I think
There was just a documentary on the other night.
I've probably watched something about it
was
before.
I'm sure you had to have, but it was like a really big thing. And I remember I was living with my sister at the time. I'm like, man, we've never heard of this guy. Like, why the fuck's all this like shit coming out and all this
Yeah.
stuff? And here they captured the guy from his family. Did the DNA swipe on Ancestry.com. And
Yeah, because
They
they
nabbed
can
him.
use those.
Yeah, but he never gave his DNA.
Well,
It was
And
somebody
what
else's.
They had a familial.
Is that the
match.
one where they picked up his coffee cup out of the trash can to
no.
get his? There was one where they picked up this guy's coffee cup out of the trash can.
That was on Monk.
No, this actually happened in real life, and they got his DNA off of it and matched him and caught him.
no, because he had left DNA in multiple
Yeah.
sites, and we should do a podcast on him sometime. That would be a long
that would
one
be.
though.
Yeah. Well,
Because he covered. They called him the Golden State Killer because he started in Northern California and worked his way down to Southern
Yeah.
California. So he was like all over the place he reigned for like 20 some years, and then he just up and sudden stopped. And They said when they caught him, he's like riding his fucking motorcycle around. He's, living in a nice community. He's working on his car on the weekends, washing his car. Then when they arrested him, he was in a wheelchair and he's like trying to pretend he was all sickly and old, and he just destroyed a lot of fucking lives.
Yeah. I hate people.
And he got to live his life out. Now he's like some old man. He fucking had 30 years on not even on the run, just
right, just like nobody,
not a care in the world.
Yep. I can't stand that stuff. I'm glad that they caught him, but I hate stories like that. Like, you killed these people, you ruined these people's lives, but you get to have, your time. You get to have your life.
I'm hoping that they catch the Zodiac the same way.
I wish.
And I hope that he's still alive if they ever
do figure it out.
I want to know.
It was
what he
Richard
looked like.
Nixon. He already gave you his name.
Yeah, and
Damn,
Alfred E. Newman.
Yeah.
Yeah, who is it? Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
Ted Cruz is Zodiac Killer.
So, if there is a true crime subject you want covered, you can email us at takeontheworld411@gmail.com, and we'll look into it
Thoroughly.
There's on YouTube. There's a thing where they cover 2 true crime, I think, unsolves in like a 10-minute episode. They've been coming up on my feed, and I've been watching a couple of those. There's a couple interesting ones.
I have 2 that are my go-tos on YouTube. One of them is BuzzFeed's Unsolved Mysteries, or something like that. I love that one. They're both really funny. They always crack me up. They always like make the story like a little bit more interesting to listen to, because sometimes, not that they're bland, but sometimes it's just hard to get through stuff like
dry.
this. Yeah,
it's just dry,
and it's
like
sick.
This one's dry. It's
sick. It's dry, but it's to the point. Like
RMO is to joke around and
yeah.
And how do you joke
It's
around?
Not much joking around with this kind of shit.
No,
someone's
it's hard.
Just freaking sick.
And then the other one that I love watching is Bailey Sarian, Murder Makeup Mystery Monday.
I actually watched one of those.
She did this one, which is why I know so much about it.
Oh, okay.
She's like, I watch her videos all the time. I love the content that she puts out, and she does her makeup really nice too. So,
that wasn't the one I was thinking of. But what did you say? Weird History?
BuzzFeed's Unsolved.
Okay, I didn't follow that one, and I follow Weird History on Facebook.
Weird History's good.
Yeah.
I follow Dark Docs.
Ugh, that doesn't sound good.
Dark Docs.
Wait, he does Dark Skies and
Dark Dark Doc last night.
Well, the guy talks really fast like this, and when he's talking to me, but like the Dark Skies is all about different aircraft from. He goes back.
UFOs?
No, he doesn't do that. He does just like he'll do the A-10 Warthog, or he'll do like, and that stuff is like the A-10 Warthog is like my favorite plane besides the Corsair from World War II. But he does. This plane was made for this, and
yeah,
he goes through the whole manufacturing process. Like they tried this, it was put out for contract, and these 4. It's interesting. I made it just sound really dry and geeky.
I don't know. It just sounds like something you might only like.
Don't take my word on that one.
We go look it up as soon as I get out of here.
Airplanes.
And he does Dark Docs, which is stories like this where it's just interesting. But he talks really fast, and when he does it, it's very dry. And like this, dry. But I like the information he puts out. I'm like kind of a history geek when it comes to YouTube.
Yeah.
I watch the history guy, and he's actually interesting. He's like he's actually a history teacher.
Yeah.
And he does. I love his World War II stuff, but he does a lot of other stuff like the history of the comb. You would think there'd be nothing there, but he could do 10 minutes on the history of the.
There are some really good history channels. They do a lot of stuff like about like Elizabethan and like Victorian era. Like they did one on how she probably had mercury poisoning or whatever, because there was mercury in the white powder.
He did the history of the challenge coin. I found that one really interesting.
Yeah,
I love that one. Like, because I have challenge coins, and it's kind of a military thing, and they're not as prestigious as they used to be, because you can actually just go get them if you want them. And like civilian agency, like I have a Blue Knights challenge coin, but people don't know what challenge coins are all about. And he told the whole story, and actually the concept of it dates back to the Roman soldiers, where Roman soldiers who did something special in a battle were given an extra special coin in their pay, and like you could take that back to the inception of the challenge coin. You could spend it just like money, but usually they kept it as a commemorative thing.
Right. How many challenge coins do you have, John? I have 5.
Just 0.
Yeah, that's right.
I have 4.
Got a bunch of quarters.
That means that I have 1 more than you because I just said I have 5.
Yeah, but I have 4 legit challenge coins.
So do I.
What the hell was I gonna? I was
You were
watching
never in the military.
That you know of.
Oh, CIA shit over here.
We're going to have to redact this entire podcast now.
We'll just put a black bar across it.
Yeah,
You know what I was watching
across
today
the entire
that was really
podcast.
fucked up? It was on Amazon Prime. It's called Nazi Death Group. Eisengruppen, and
I actually saw that.
it's so.
I did.
Mike, it puts this shit that we just put to shame. Like
They were
it
like
was so disgusting.
they were murderers. It was a platoon
Yeah.
of just like disgusting people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it evolved. It
Yeah.
first started off as, we're going to follow the army in. The army kills, the soldiers. We'll follow in and kill every Jewish person in there. So at first they started off as recruiting. Like they went from south to north. So there was like 8 different groups and like 5 to 6 subdivisions under each group. And they first started off by recruiting local townspeople to do all their dirty work. So they blamed it all on the Russians. And they're like, you want to get back at the Russians, kill the Jews. So they, instead of going to forced labor, hard labor, they joined a police force, and it was a lot easier on them. And then they started making them kill, and then they just started designing. So it was like the prelude to the death camps.
Yeah, but they said even the SS looked down on these people because they were so brutal and disgusting.
Yeah.
If the SS is looking down on you,
why they started making the death camps was because a lot of these, once the Germans finally started taking it over, but once they did, as even hardened as these guys were and scumbags that they were going home and getting sick and claiming they were depressed and they couldn't go back out in the field and they couldn't. So Hitler was like, well, we need to have this on a big scale that you don't have to see it. So that's why they started designing the
Death camp.
gas chambers and stuff.
I'm wondering what was wrong with the air in that time, because you got Aleister Crowley in that time, you got World War I, World War II.
This guy was born
Germans.
in 39.
This guy was born in 39.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, there's something wrong with the air back then.
It must be.
Not that there ain't fucked up people now.
I don't get disturbed by watching much, but this, honestly disturbed me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's why I don't want to read what his indoctrination video was.
I would read it. That doesn't really. I mean, yeah, it's sick, but
It's sick.
I mean, I don't know.
And
It's just
I certainly don't want
information,
to play it. I mean, I'll link it in the description.
Yeah, I would link it.
But I'm not gonna. You want to read it? You go ahead and read it, because if you read it and you enjoy it, you're a sick fuck.
Yeah, I heard that.
It's fucked up.
But the only thing that sucked with watching that is it kept fucking loading, so I can only see 10 seconds at a time.
Ugh.
And they weren't holding anything back. There was pictures. All the guys were counting everything,
Yeah.
and they didn't give a shit. Children, women.
Yeah.
That's like when I watched Band of Brothers, which John let me in. I watched in 3 days. I was watching it, and when they went in and they found the first camp, and they started feeding the people, the doctor says you can't.
Yeah,
you gotta stop
they'll
feeding
die
them.
if they.
They're gonna die. They'll eat themselves to death.
Yeah.
And one of the guy had to get up and tell these people, look, you got to get back into camp. You're putting them back in the same condition that they were in before, and I understand that it was the reasoning for it, but how hard that had to be for anybody to tell them they got to go back in that conditions.
Yeah. Well, here's one thing I didn't know. After, I guess towards the end of the war, the Nazis were like, "Holy shit, we don't want anybody to find out that we had all these mass graves all over
Germany.
Not even Germany, just like
Everywhere. Europe.
Latvia, Europe, Ukraine, Belarus. So they went back and they sent guys back to re-dig the graves up, and they would take people from into town to re-dig these graves up, stack all the dead bodies on like a wood pile, burn it, take all the valuables out once they were all ashes, then they would shoot all the people who were involved with it and burn them too.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus fucking
Here,
Christ.
stand right here so I don't have to move you.
Yeah.
It's like that's like was that Inglourious Bastards where they had them dig in the hole?
Yeah. Well, at the end of
Well, they had the Nazis digging their own.
Yeah, and then they shot him.
The guy came out with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
yeah.
Oh, he hits one in the right center field.
In Band of Brothers, they had the townspeople that were allowing it to happen, that were right next to
Yeah.
and they said, no, we didn't know. Yeah, you knew something.
Yeah.
They had them pulling the bodies out, and
I just can't imagine how. And then one guy said, he's like, yeah, at that one point they could kill 1,000 people an hour.
Well,
I can't imagine that.
when I was in Austria, I actually visited Mauthausen, and I got to walk through the gas chamber, and I saw like one of the furnaces and everything. It's
Dude, she was 12 years
very
old when
surreal.
she did that.
Yeah, I was 12. It was super surreal.
Yeah, I bet.
Like, she came, like, I think it was right after that when you came home, we went down to D.C. She said she wanted to go to the
Holocaust Memorial
Holocaust
Museum.
And I'm like, Lex, that's like a really adult thing. Like, I don't know if I want to take you there. And she goes, well, I was already to the camp.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, good point.
I already saw like
I mean,
where it
you
happened.
did think like there was kids involved in that whole thing. Like the one thing that disturbed me was they had a guy who was involved with. I guess they hired him to get his backhoe and push all the dead bodies into the trench when they were done killing them.
making fun of prostitutes again.
No, what?
The backhoe.
Oh, and he's looking at these pictures, and he goes, "You look at this picture. There's a picture of a little boy, and you can see the ocean behind him, and he's like looks distraught. He's looking back at all the people in the line, and he's like it looks like he's wincing. And then there's a woman behind him, and she's like her daughter's like right next to her. There's another lady behind him. She's got her baby in her hand, or her head's laying on her shoulder, and there's another like old lady behind them." And that's the photo. And he goes, here's the next photo, is them all standing on the edge of the trench waiting to be shot. And then the next photo was the guy pushing him into the thing. And you could see it was clearly all, I'm like,
Yeah.
just to do that, photograph it, keep records of it, like it was like you're going on vacation
It's
or something.
almost like what was the point of, digging up the mass graves to burn them if you're just going to take photographs?
Well, those photographs that they have were leaked. Like they were stolen from, because they said most of the time the German officers or whoever, Latvian officers who were in charge were just shit-faced drunk. And there was one account where they had these two girls and they set them up next to the trench and they're laughing and he walked back to the machine gunners and apparently they started drinking and they forgot that they were there, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah," and he walks back up and he kicks both of them in the ass into like this sloppy like trench like water and shit, and they're swimming around. And he took out his gun, he started shooting, but he said he was too drunk to hit him, and she got up out of the trench and like made her way off, and then some German in a truck further down recaptured her and brought her back. And it's just, I mean, I don't know that. What am I trying to say? Like, as far as, how some people say, like, we don't know why we're fighting this war, or we're fighting this war for oil. I think in that war, you sort of knew, okay, we're fighting this
For humanity.
a clear evil that needs to be eradicated off this fucking face of the earth. I just can't believe that somebody could be that powerful and get somebody to do that to that extent.
I don't understand it myself.
But then you have a sicko like this guy, David Parker Ray, who did it for kicks.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sure there was a lot of German officers who got kicks out of it. And they actually did say that they got kind of bored with some of the stuff and they like just started doing different things so they would keep it interesting.
There's actually a movie that came out not that long ago that I want to see. It's called Jojo Rabbit.
I've heard of that,
And it's about like a little boy that's in the Hitler Youth.
Yeah, it's like
And
a weird
his-
comedy.
It is, but it's like kind of sweet because his mom. So he's in the Hitler Youth.
Yeah, that's
His
sweet.
mom. No, listen. His mom is hiding a little Jewish girl in their house. So he's like coming to terms with like, this stuff is wrong. Like my mom's right. Like she's doing something good, and he becomes friends with this little Jewish girl. But there's also like the the comedical part of this movie, which is this little boy has an imaginary friend, which is Hitler, and he's like, no, this isn't the right, like, your mom's not right, you need to rat her out. And he's like, no, I'm not going to rat my mom out. So
Yeah,
it's like,
I saw a couple. I was
it
like,
looks
what the
good.
fuck? It was weird, the parts I saw.
Right. I mean, like, it does, it looks kind of almost like a little bit more serious Inglourious Bastards.
You think it looks more serious than that?
Yeah, Glorious Bastards wasn't a comedy.
I mean,
No, it's not. I don't think so.
I feel like it was kind of built, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's a comedy, but, like, I feel like it's serious in a different way. Like, it's more, like, compassionate, whereas Inglourious Bastards was
Yeah.
kind of just, like,
I know you're like you
right
don't
up
wanna
front about it.
Attach comedy to like a Nazi
Right.
movie,
right. But, like, there's
but I
always,
think
like,
it's
those
comedy
aspects.
in the aspect that they're making fun of them.
Of
Right.
course, Inglourious Bastards was an alter timeline
Right.
because they killed all the high command and Hitler in the theater,
Right. But
which would have been nice.
yeah.
But-
But if you want to, like, I would love to finish watching that. I think it was like 6 episodes. I'm on the third one. But like I said, I kept pausing every 10 seconds and reloading, so you can only watch it in like 10 to 15 second
Yeah.
intervals. But
That sucks.
it was that powerful that I kept doing it. I just put it on. And I'm like, what? Fucking a bitch every time I paused.
Yeah.
Probably broke your controller and
Hulk that shit right in half.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought to myself, I'm like, what gives you the right to think you fucking can do that to a whole entire race? And then at one point they had a map and they're like, this was Juden something, and it meant Juden Frieden. It meant this whole fucking area is like, there's no more Jews here. They're all gone.
Yeah. Mhm.
So,
Fucked up shit.
yeah, with that being said,
so
we also have
With
a
that
good
tangent
night
over.
rest.
Yeah.
another week and we'll be drinking the Take on the World brew,
Yeah.
which would be nice.
What if we can make our own can for that?
Make our own labels for the bottles.
Yeah.
I don't have the patience to can. When
Or whatever.
When I was in
bottles,
Saipan the first time, I went to the Saipan brewery, and I found oh my god, there's a Saipan brewery
Yeah.
on this little island. So I contacted the dudes, and I went down while they were doing their production, and I watched how they canned it one can at a time.
No wonder they didn't have any when we were there.
What? Yeah, it was there.
Yeah, but they had like 6 different kinds and they only had like 2 on tap.
Right, but the kegging stuff is easy.
Yeah.
The canning, they were using the same kind of canner they used to can the Crowlers. Those cans.
Yeah.
It's the same concept. It's just a smaller
Oh
one.
my god.
And they were doing it one can at a time. Like, that would drive me freaking crazy.
Yeah, I can't imagine that.
Well, things were a little less chaotic down
They're
there.
on island time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but time is money still.
Island time.
You know what they said? They were like, everything's slower here. We don't care.
St. Croix was like that. St. Croix, you went to Lowe's or Home Depot, you didn't have to put down in your paperwork that it was 3 hours because it was more than 3 hours. So, I guess that wraps this up.
Yeah, that's the Toybox killer.
Yeah, Michael.
David Parker Ray's a piece of shit.
Absolutely.
And dead.
So are the Nazis.
Thank God he's
Yeah.
dead. So are the Nazis.
Also dead.
And Mike's gonna, I guess, link that.
Yeah,
Dumb
For whatever reason, why
audio.
you want to hear that, I don't fucking know. I've heard it. It's fucking gross.
I listened to like the first minute of it, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't need to hear this
I just,
Like, he's just a full of himself piece of shit.
yeah, like to
because
see him.
he's laughing while he's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you think you're gonna get raped? Well, you better believe so.
Like, fuck you, bro.
like I
I
will
hope he's getting raped in hell.
put a hole in
Sure he is.
that motherfucker.
Like in Little Nicky when they shove the pineapple up Hitler's ass every day at the same time.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That just came up in my queue on Netflix.
I just watched it the other day.
And this is why you need to conceal carry.
Yes.
Protect yourself.
Promote
yourself.
the NRA. Join the NRA if you can. Listen, I'm not a freaking nutbag, but I mean, if I was walking down the street in lonely old Elephant Butte State Park, I don't know, man. That shit happens. It just freaks me out.
You're pretty too, because they might have come after
It
you.
might. I'm
You're
sure.
a pretty bitch,
I would
man.
last a couple months with no food.
Hello there, bitch.
Yeah.
Hello there, bitch. Well, thank you. You talking to me?
Squeal like a pig, boy.
Oh, you don't have to ask. I'll do it.
Yeah.
They get in there. My legs are already in the stirrups. I got all the toys picked out I want.
Oh, dude.
Oh my god, I can't even think about him.
It's going way downhill. You take everything over the edge, bro.
I already started recording, Dave.
Oh god.
I got 5 minutes on there already, and he's looking. Oh, God! You sick bastard!
Get out of here! Get out of my toy box!
You ruined
He
this.
burns the toy
soiled
box down. You could have saved us.
Jesus, Johnny.
Sorry.
Oh, so with that, we're gonna wrap up this weekend. Go take on the world.
Oh god.
Go. Hold on, stop.
Welcome back to the Shit Show 2.0.
Okay, boomer.
Damn millennials. Wow.
Did not know that. Even flirters who are obviously mentally ill.
Oh, this is gonna go downhill real quick.